Oh my gosh. Oh, listen, if y'all see the ash, just allow it, okay? I was at the pool. Mind your business. This season, I swear, if you miss an episode, you miss everything. Because I was going to just combine this review and the next review. That was not going to work. Because, honey, I got a whole list of notes. And we're going to get into it, okay? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me, reviewing Love Island Season 10, Episode 22. I see a lot of y'all watching and not subscribing. You come back every day. You might as well subscribe, honey, okay? The season is good. The reviews are good. Show your girl some support. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. We're going to jump straight in. Munch cannot help but be a beg. He cannot help but be a beg, and here he is yet again begging.
They look really perfect.
It's like you. If you were a tomato. Shouldn't have closed your door so early.
I haven't closed it.
You'll see your top three.
Let the top 3 thing go.
That just went, yeah, bit dry, I don't know. Things aren't going right with Zach. You just need to grovel back to me.
I would love to know what is going on in Munch's mind, because sneak dissing to me as a woman is so unattractive. I just feel like you should believe in your own sauce. You don't need to belittle somebody else to make yourself look better. Like, just be better. And if I see it, great. And if I don't, that's my business. But let me tell you, that one, I don't know. If I were you, I'd be worried. If I were you, I'd be groveling back to me. You're weird. This is weird behavior. And quite frankly, it's getting really annoying. I know we say we want to keep him around for entertainment. I don't want to be entertained by this. As you guys know, when I write my notes, I write them how I'm feeling at the time. So how I felt at the beginning of the episode is not how I felt at the end of the episode. So at the beginning, the aftermath of Judas and Whitney's conversation really wasn't doing it for me.
It was a good conversation, I'm not gonna lie. It was like really good. It was really chill, normal vibe.
No, you're not counting out.
Probably not. One goes too close to 0.
The man said one option is too close to 0. Whitney, if I'm not mistaken, wants to be a lover girl. This man said he's going to try to be a lover boy. No, you could just be one. You don't need to try. You know what I mean? So it, like, at this point of the episode, I was like, this is not what I want. I don't like it. I really, really don't like it. I do think that they have some chemistry between each other, but in terms of what they are looking for in the long term, I just don't know if it's there. It's giving summer romance. Judas talks to Katie, who feels like the vibe between them is kind of awkward.
I think out of all of our conversations, that was the most awkward.
Probably.
I want to make sure if I'm getting to know someone, they'll work on the outside.
No, of course, but we're still so early anyway. I can read rooms, bro.
I'm telling you, bro, I know girls like Katie. She's just waiting to read you.
The reality is they really would not work in real life. They wouldn't. They would not. And okay, I know I just said that about Whitney, but it's for different reasons. It's not that I don't think that Whitney and Judas could work on the outside. I do think that they could work on the outside, but I don't think they could provide what they want for each other at that time. I think Judas is looking for a plaything right now. And I think Whitney is cool with like playing for a little bit, but I think she wants to settle down, like maybe not settle down like marriage, but she wants commitment to some degree. With Katie and Judas, it's just completely different worlds. I don't think they can provide anything for each other on the outside, but then I also don't think their lifestyles would even be congruent, you know? I highly doubt you would see Katie in Judas's space and vice versa. And like you got SoundCloud rapper and the girl who wants a white picket fence. It's just, in the words of Jessie Wu, the continents do not meet. It is now the next day, and in the morning debrief, we have Katie, who says that things are still awkward between her and Judas, even though they were kissing in the bed. I don't know how awkward it can be, child. If it's awkward for me, I ain't kissing you in the mouth. I'll tell you that for free. Judas says that Whitney is a vibe, and he is attracted to her. Who's Ness? Oh, Jess. Jess and Sammy are back to normal. Kat and Scott feel like they went deep in their date. Surprise, surprise, because we didn't even get to see the date. So how would we know? How would we know? You know, some people in the Discord were saying Kat is definitely getting an unfair edit. And I think that she is getting an unfair edit. I can understand why she wasn't sent on a date, though, if I'm being honest. I can see why the decisions that were made were made. But the reality is there are a lot of gaps in Catherine's story. I feel like that's why she was in the bottom the last time that there was a that vote with the bottom three. And now again, we're getting this new story with Scott, and we're just like, what? We never see Scott do this like random affirmation of his and Catherine's relationship without being asked. Like, we don't get to see that. So the boys bringing it up later in the episode, I'm like, where did that come from? And then now they're saying that their date was so good and deep and they got down to like more layers. And I'm like, again, we didn't get to see it. So how would we know? I think there's one more thing. No, that's the last thing. After the debrief, Judas is curious what Munch is on about because it's one story to him and a different story to Katie.
Bro, I can't lie, bro. I was dropping hints just to see where her head was at without seeing where the head was at, you know, to get a vibe. Because you didn't tell me anything. I wanted to know where Katie's situation is, you know, to let you know.
I feel like if Katie didn't say nothing to me, though, I wouldn't have found out. Like, it just looks fucking weird, bro.
I've got to own what I did, but I didn't even know what I did. Do you know what I mean?
These two are supposed to be besties, allegedly. Maybe besties more so on Munch's side, but they're supposed to be boys, regardless. And I'm just like, I just don't understand you, Munch. He is on a different plane completely than the rest of us, and we're just not going to get him. And you know what makes it worse? He doesn't even understand himself. He's like, I don't even know what I was doing. How are we supposed to help you if you can't help yourself, sir? We're trying to understand you, but you don't even understand you. Judas then goes to talk to Katie to make sure that the story that Munch had told him is true, which it wasn't entirely true.
Mitch called me for a chat. He was like, just stick with him. He was saying that you went over to the boys and said that our chat was dry.
I was like trying to be a good wingman and that.
Going from wingman into sticking it on her.
How is that wingmanning? The role of a wingman is to secure the girl for your boy. There is no selfish behavior to it. So you shooting your shot is a selfish behavior. Like how is that you wingmanning? Truly. And so Katie didn't see the conversation as shady, but from a guy's perspective, it is shady. Especially if you're saying, well, I was looking out for you. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. I'm not even a guy. And I felt like that conversation was shady. The game of telephone continues. And honestly, it keeps going on after this part here, but I'm not going into it. Essentially, Judas then goes back to Munch to ask him, okay, so you said our conversation was boring. And he's like, oh yeah, I did say that.
Did you go to Katie and tell her I said our chat was dry, bro? Was
No.
those your words, though?
Yeah, they were.
Come on, G,
I didn't mean
bro.
it like that, though.
What are you doing, bro?
You know what I mean? I was just trying to be like the middleman in it. It wasn't intentional, literally, when I said it, because I was just trying to get into it and that.
Like, every time we've had an issue in any aspect, bro, it has come from your side. Like, I'm not calling you a snake, but I don't do snaky shit.
I was just trying to give you some pep talk to fucking... And God's honest truth, that wasn't to benefit me.
He says that he didn't do anything in that conversation to benefit him, but he literally told the girl she would be groveling back to him. Why? If you're looking out for your boy, why even insert yourself in that conversation whatsoever? And what business did you have going and checking on Katie? Are you Katie's keeper? Like, he's doing the same thing he was doing with Molly. It's so weird. Oh, I'm just looking out for you. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I love that Judas said something. I mean, I wish that he stood 10 toes down in it, but he was like, I don't want to feel like I can't come to you and say stuff. You can't. You cannot go to Munch and say things because it will be relayed, especially when a woman is involved. When it has to do with a woman, he will just... He has done it to Judas. He has done it to Sammy regarding Jess. He has done it in Molly's defense, but he did it to Ella. Like, Ella is too opinionated, and he felt like he had to check her. And then he felt like he had to check Ty for checking him, checking Ella. It is the weirdest thing. It is the weirdest thing. I need him gone. I need him gone. And I need him gone before Sammy. And that's saying a lot. There's an interesting conversation. This is where things take a shift. And I'm like, between Montel and Whitney and also Ty and the other guys. And essentially, they are skeptical of Scott's intentions regarding Catherine.
You think Scott's intentions are
pure?
Yeah.
Like, the more I see them with each other, I would say so.
Well, like, me and Catherine are great. Shut up, bro.
I thought that too till I spent some time with them together yesterday.
I think they're talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just shit, like...
I don't know why it's all come about today.
I understand where Ty is coming from in the fact that what's understood doesn't need to be said. You know, if you have a good connection with the girl, we don't have to constantly hear how great it's going, especially if you're not being asked. It does seem fishy. And I have had my own concerns about Scott just because trauma, just because trauma, child. But after a while, I've kind of been buying into their connection. They just seem very like problematic, unproblematic. They're to themselves. They like the pace that they're going at. Like, we had a little blip there with Katie, but that's fine. After he ended things with Leah, it seemed like things were going from strength to strength. Where now I do agree with Catherine is like, if you're doing whispers about somebody who you're supposed to be boys with, or even who you live in the same house with, just go and talk to the person. Let me see if I can play devil's advocate. Why would Scott want to constantly reassure a relationship that he isn't being questioned about? I don't think I have an answer. Maybe he's trying to convince himself. Oh, God of mercy. Maybe he is trying to convince himself. Yeah, I don't know. But regardless, end of the day, y'all need to pick your asses up and go talk to Scott himself. The singles, Sammy and Whitney, get a text that they get to pick somebody to go on a date with. Sammy picked Jess, obviously, and Whitney chose Judas. Now, Sammy and Jess's conversation is so redundant. Honestly, we've heard this conversation 50 million times. So I'm going to... Listen, they got so tired of their own conversation. They were peering over at Whitney and Judas to see what they was talking about. Obviously, y'all have just run through all the topics. We're bored. Everybody's bored. Now, Judas and Whitney... Guys, don't hate me. I see the vision.
It's silly because
Why are you stuttering?
Nah, I'm not stuttering. I'm trying to multitask right now. You witness me be a terrible guy.
I'm looking for someone that I can grow with, someone that lets me be me, let him be him.
I'm at a point now.
Are you sure?
Don't question me like that. Don't do that. No, I'm at a point now where it's like I'm ready for that next step. I didn't think I'd be your type though.
Really? Why? Not you down
know.
yourself. I know I'm your type.
I can't lie.
Yeah, you like I'm bad.
I do.
I felt the vibe, man. I felt the vibe. I felt the vibe. And the date was mad long. They typically don't show us this. I'm like, y'all could have cut parts of Jess and them out because I was really taken by this date between Judas and Whitney. It was nice. It was nice. I don't know why Judas is all of a sudden playing coy, because he does express interest in Whitney. I don't know how far true that is. I think on the surface, he could see himself being attracted to Whitney, but does he see that same potential like that he saw in Molly? I don't think so. Something has been brewing under the surface. We do know that. But if things pan out differently, would we be here today? I don't think so. Would he have ever... Okay, this is going to be conflicting. Basically, my thoughts are, would they have ever expressed interest into each other? And you might say, well, they were coupled up with other people. So were Dammy and India. But the connection between them was just so undeniable that they started to have a little something, even though they had their own partners. And then fate worked in their favor. Their partners got dumped. So I'm just like, I wish I would have seen more substance before their partners left so that I could root for it more. But right now, for me, it does kind of look opportunistic, more so on Judas's side. And then for Whitney, I'm like, yeah, I could see where you're feeling it. Because for me, of all the guys in the villa, it would be Zach too. It would. I'm sorry. Nobody else does it for me the way that Judas does. So I get it. yeah, I don't want to get it, but I get it. When everyone's back from the date, they're giving great reviews. Sammy and Jess are just over the moon at the fact that they are back to how they used to be, which wasn't great, but okay, child. And then Judas and Whitney are talking about how the date was actually good. You know, they have had a vibe between them. So to have this isolated time was good for them. Now, Katie is listening to this, obviously, and she's starting to feel away. She's a weird one though, because she'll keep her cards close to her chest, but then she'll also feel away when Judas doesn't express this strong interest in her. Like, how do you want him to say everything if you're not saying much at all?
Obviously, it's early days. It'd be silly to be closed off completely.
Oh my God, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the sort of vibe I was on.
But like, you're going to go out of your way to like get to know her.
I wouldn't say go out of my way.
Just be honest with me. I heard a conversation.
I am being honest.
But you must have given her that vibes for her to be like...
Nah, of course, I'm sitting there, the drinks, having a good time. Like, it's just one of those ones. But
can you be honest, Katie? Can you be honest? Because you say you're not pressed, but you sound very pressed. Very pressed. And a little bit of her from 7 years ago was starting to come out. She was starting to get a little antsy. You know, she was, getting a little agitated. But I'm just like, I don't know how you expect this man to lay it on the line if you're not going to give him anything at all. You know? So she said she's going to cool it off with him. And he's like, all right, like, that's fine. She wasn't really giving him much anyways, right? And he's like, well, you're trying to get to know Munch, so it is what it is. Honey, she did not like that.
Mitch!
nah, please don't do that.
Because that's not true. I don't chat shit and like, I'm honest with stuff. And I didn't say I want to get to know Mitch.
All right, I'm going home.
Come on, honesty, best policy, all that.
If this is the energy you're going to give, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I love some chaos. I love some drama. Honey, the next episode. Anyways, I love some chaos. I love some drama. So cool. And also, I love like honesty, especially if we're all living here in the same house. This whole he said, she said foolishness, it does not make any sense. Jess has done it before and I rated her for it. Katie's doing it now and I rate her for it. Let's get the two people who are saying conflicting things in the same room and let's hash it out. What's the story? What's actually happening here? Now, I don't actually remember Katie saying she was interested in getting to know Munch, but I also don't remember Munch explicitly saying the interest for Katie is one-sided. So I can see where, you know, Judas had that little bit of confusion. But yeah, I loved this little moment here. It was like, yes, let's have the honesty. Let's stop with the whispers, okay? And then Katie is starting to have a little bit of a breakdown. Essentially, she feels like she's being left in the dark by everybody in the villa.
I think the fact that you had to hear all that come out of Whitney's mouth first instead of Zach's isn't nice. She's actually being smug about it. It's making me feel awkward.
I fully get you because I know if she's a, like, you know, girl's girl, what girl's
Which she
girl,
says she is.
And just be honest about how it went. And
I'm coupled up with a guy. Does no one want to let me know? Do I look like a mug?
No. Careful. Careful now. Careful. Leah. Careful. Okay. I'm gonna be easy on you, Leah, because this is your first time around. But Katie, this is your second time around. And apparently on your season, you were the queen of the villa. It is 7 years from then. That is not the case anymore. So I'd be careful. How you talk about my girl? I'd be careful. How you talk about my girl? I'm just saying. Apparently they don't like the fact that Whitney is supposed to be a girl's girl and her not letting Katie know where she stands with Judas makes her not a girl's girl. Honey, you're overwhelmed by this new information and so are we. It is new to everyone. Literally, nobody's leaving you in the dark. There's no light. There is no light. We are all fumbling in the dark, baby. Nobody knows what's going on. This is new. I'm very protective over Whitney. And these two were getting a little bit too spicy for me. Just a little bit too spicy. Yeah, I'd be careful how you talk about my girl. I'm just saying. Next episode, Scott pipes up. And I can't blame him because where is this coming from? Like, Ty always has something to say about something, but this really was a blindside for me. Like, and this isn't Ty's first time doing this to Catherine, because before he was talking about Judas in the presence of Catherine, but like obviously she didn't know what he was talking about. And so then after the fact, he was like, oh, okay, let me tell you what's going on. And it's like, again, you have these feelings about a person who Catherine's partnered up with, but you don't want to tell her straight up. And she has to find it in these weird ways. Like, Tyreek, I got my eyes on you. I got my eyes on you. Guys, Casa is coming. Guys, please send in proper boys. I'm so sorry. The selections these past few years, and I understand I have North American eyes, so the way that I see the people on screen in a UK show is not the same way y'all gonna see them, the people who live in the UK. But damn, it has just been slim pickings these last few seasons. So I would like a revamp. Okay? I know it's Be Kind and all that stuff, but it's Love Island. There's a certain caliber. Just saying. Anyways, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.